Welcome, graduates. It's been a while. Yes, I'm going to be doing a 10 Tory in a one podcast for you today. Listen, first of all, Head Teacher K is going to apologize for the week to come because, well, I'm actually sorry. I am going on holiday, so I will not be on live. But, if you want to have any kind of contact with me, I'm always on my Facebook here and there. But, it's time for me to relax and have some fun, right? So kindly forgive my absence for the coming week. Anyway, let us review some of the things that has come up on social media for the past week. First of all, it is still currently being discussed, this whole thing about Wodemaya's visit to 99 Mountain View. It was an amazing event. All the Planketarians were so celebratory of the entire thing. But of course, there is always going to be critics, people paying attention to details, be it for positive or negative reasons, I'm not sure. However, one thing that did come out was the whole thing around Wodemaya's response to one particular lady asking for one of the gift baskets that he sponsored from 33 times 3. The lady not only asked for a basket, but she also requested that should she receive one, it would be done off camera, which was not to Wodemaya's liking. He prefers to do everything on camera, and somehow you could tell from his body language and everything that he wasn't happy with the request. So when 33 times 3 asked him for one of the baskets, if it was possible to give the lady one, he gave her a very quick response to say that all the baskets were finished, and that there were none left to give to her. So, it was a done deal. 33 times 3 did look a bit puzzled, and she simply repeated what Wodemaya said. Now, I'm going to give my opinion on Wodemaya's response. It can be a bit awkward when you are in a completely different country and you're amongst people who you're not familiar with, and you don't necessarily want confrontation. Now, I'm not giving excuses because he certainly did lie, but I suppose the awkwardness of being asked and not wanting to have to go into any lengthy explanations and wanting to quickly move on to the next thing made him come up with what was clearly not the truth. I'm going to say this, that Wodemaya, you never needed to lie. At the end of the day, you have sponsored these baskets. It's your choice who you decide to give them to. And if you didn't think that this individual met the criteria, you could have simply said, not on this occasion, maybe next time round. That would have been enough for her to simply go away. She would not have insisted. She would not have asked any further questions, probably out of embarrassment from being told no in the first place. So, yes, has nothing to do with 33 times 3. She was simply the facilitator and the hostess. He made the decision and he said what he said. And then subsequently, he clarified on his own live that he very much understood the request and that there were more baskets, but he did not wish to give it to her. Not very nice in terms of how it would have been interpreted by the Jamaican audience, because it looks more like an act of snobbery as opposed to being honest about the fact that she wasn't entitled to one or you chose not to give her one. So it could have been done differently, is all I have to say about that. Okay. Now, everybody is looking forward to the new movie Bob Marley One Love, which is due to be released in the UK on the 16th of February 2024. Exciting indeed. This biographical musical drama film will be all about the life of Bob Marley and will delve into some of the personal relationships he had with a variety of women, including his wife Rita Marley. Now, of course, they have got to reflect on the past relationship with Cindy Breakspear, and the whole thing has sparked a debate over who is Bob Marley's real queen. Now, for those of you who are not aware, Cindy Breakspear is the mother of Damian Marley, and she has come out guns blazing with a response to the criticisms that she's received over her extramarital affair with Bob Marley. Take a listen to what she has to say.
How would I ever sit here and rather not have Damien in my life or not have the awesome relationship that I had with Bob? I mean, do people understand what a privilege it is to be intimately and inextricably associated with the greatest legacy that has come out of Jamaica in 100 years? Do they understand what that feels like? What kind of blessing that is? You can't wish that away. You couldn't want to take that away from anybody. You're going to just have to stay over there and figure it out. Because this long ago became your problem. It is no longer mine.
Now, interestingly, 3 days ago, the quote-unquote legitimate children of Bob Marley and Rita Marley clapped back on Instagram, one of which was from Ziggy Marley, who titled his mother Bob's Ride or Die Wife, or an African Queen. Sharon lauded her as the real queen. Stella Marley, too, in a comment on Rita's Instagram page, described her mother as the one and only, adding that many were called, but you were chosen, God and Mrs. Marley. Now, this clapback basically came as a result of Cindy Breakspeare's birthday post to the late reggae icon, which she had done the Tuesday before. In the tribute, Breakspeare shared details of the places she and the reggae legend created countless memories, alongside photos of herself, Marley, and Damien. Her tribute read, Bob, on what would have been your 79th birthday, I celebrate the incredible impact you've had globally, cherish our amazing son Damien, and reminisce about the beautiful times we shared. She also wrote, from 56 Hope Road to your mother's home in Delaware and Miami, New York, Oakley Street in London, the Bahamas, Trinidad and beyond. The memories are countless, but our love for you is endless. Happy birthday to the people's hero, loved and revered by all. So understandably, I am not surprised that the children of Bob Marley, between himself and Rita, felt the need to hold their mother up on high pedestal. What I'm gathering, guys, is that really and truly the relationship between Cindy Breakspeare and Bob Marley seems to hold some negative memories for Rita Marley, the legitimate wife of the legend. Now, why is that surprising? It certainly shouldn't be. Remember, Cindy Breakspeare is literally the opposite of everything that Rita Marley actually was. Both women, beautiful in their own right, would be considered polar opposites in terms of their appearance and what they stood for. Now, of course, there is press news and there is word on the street news, and then there is rumblings from, parties that are close and near and dear to Rita Marley. And from what I have gathered, based on personal experience and knowledge, it was never a subject that was considered a positive discussion where it came to Cindy Breakspeare. This bugbear has caused Rita Marley considerable pain during the situation of the actual affair. And quite frankly, as much as Cindy Breakspeare was a side chick, I do not honestly believe that she should be bearing any brunt of criticism where Bob Marley was concerned. After all, we often say that women are not accountable when they are having affairs with married men to the wives, but the husbands ought to be. Now, in this case, clearly Bob Marley has passed and is therefore unable to take accountability for his actions and any pain that would have been caused emotionally towards his wife and legitimate children. And I use the word legitimate loosely, just purely on the basis of marital status and nothing else, because really it's not a very nice term and all his children are his children. So while it is that Cindy Breakspeare definitely bright her outer order the way she push up herself, you can't deny that indeed she's a part of his history, and side chick or not, she would simply be expressing her emotions and how she felt about her relationship with the man. And also bear in mind she has his child, so it's a bit more than just a side chick, but she is in fact a baby mother of the man. So whether or not it is pleasing to the wife's ears or to the children of that wife, she has got a right to speak on that relationship. It isn't a nice thing to do. It isn't a nice thing to experience, but it is what it is. You know what I'm going to say about this, graduates? Rita Marley has always been a humble woman. And the way she represents herself in the public eye has always been a lady of high standing who has been respectful of her husband's memory. Now, Cindy Breakspeare has never hesitated to speak quite openly and frankly about her illicit affairs with the married man. And in a way, in terms of creating any kind of bond between herself and Rita, I think that many of her public statements have gone against that. So I do not understand why it is that she insists on rubbing the details of their affair in the face of Rita Marley, but she has done it before. So I'm going to throw your minds back to an article that was published in the Gleaner on the 20th of February 2014, where Cindy Breakspeare blatantly admitted that she knew the king of reggae, the man who would later become the father of her love child, because they would say hello to each other in passing. In revelations delivered at the Undercroft of the University of the West Indies, Mona, during the annual Bob Marley lecture, Cindy Breakspear opened up completely about that affair and how it grew. She claimed that Bob Marley made her feel special with small gifts like a freshly picked mango and an invitation to walk in the cool night air. She then said, and I quote, "And I could not deny that we were fiercely attracted to each other, fascinated and separated simultaneously by our differences, so we began to build a bridge. The same bridge that has brought me here today. Bob was strong, fit and virile, tough as nails and boyishly charming all at the same time." She claims he was not only attractive, but intimidating for a young girl like me. I knew instinctively if I were to enter into this relationship with him, it would change the trajectory of my life forever. She even opened up about the actual moment when she and his relationship transcended into a physical thing. Now remember I said that Rita and Cindy Breakspear are complete opposites. Cindy Breakspear was uptown. She was not attached to any religion or denomination. She was not Rastafarian. In fact, she did not adhere to any of the principles at all. She was what you would consider a free spirit, whereas Rita has always been a traditional Rastafarian girl. Cindy Breakspear, very light-skinned, almost white. Rita Marley, very typical looking Jamaican black dark-skinned woman. So, just putting yourself in Rita's shoes. It could not have been a nice thing to know that somebody so opposite from you was considered a heartthrob for your partner. In other words, why was he attracted to somebody who was the opposite of what you represented? It almost makes you feel as though he wanted somebody else completely different and not you. So how could that have resulted in any positive memories for Rita Marley? A lot of people are arguing that, well, Bob Marley, a Rastaman known to take more than one woman, a Ray, so Rita never have no problem with it. Come on, I think we need to be realistic and have an understanding of the dynamics that were at play. It could not have been pleasant. And Cindy does insist on repeatedly bringing these kind of comments and memories to the fore via the media. And this to me is quite inconsiderate of Rita Marley herself. But like we said, she owes no obligation to her. But woman to woman, surely Cindy could have done things differently, or at least held back on sharing certain details that would revisit the painful experience of being cheated on by somebody who is completely opposite to yourself. Yes, celebrate your son, celebrate his father, but I think that certain memories should not necessarily be painted across social media to constantly remind a woman. But that's my opinion, guys. So that was more or less the balanced justification about why Cindy Breakspear is allowed to do what she wants to do on social media with regards to revisiting her memories. But this now is my personal opinion on the matter. Okay, so now let's move on to Marcia Campbell. So as you all know, Marcia came on her platform and she was asking for money in order for her to attend her best friend's funeral. It has caused huge uproar in various camps. Lots of people are thinking that Marcia is out of order to ask her followers for any kind of monetary compensation or gifts in order for her to make a trip where she is living a lifestyle which in itself is quite costly according to the comments. I'm going to say this, really and truly, people, I don't care. If it is that somebody wants to take to their platform and beg for this and beg for that and people want to do it, that's their prerogative. I think it really is down to the audience as to whether or not you are truly going to support something like that and you think it's a worthy cause. If you do, then that's your prerogative. I really don't understand why people get so caught up with the actions on social media because, to be honest, nothing surprises me. There are people out here begging for all sorts of things, of which attending a funeral is the least of my concern. I've heard people asking for money to buy cars, asking for money to buy new wigs, asking for money to do all sorts of nonsense. And no, I am not justifying the mentality that begging is first resort. I think that people really ought to try for themselves before resorting to taking to their platform and asking their followers to finance their life. But without a doubt, emergencies do happen, and sometimes you do need a helping hand. And if this is how people choose to do it, That's their prerogative. I personally would never use my platform for things like that. But then again, I cannot compare my situation to hers. I have a different support network, and therefore I can rely on them should any kind of crisis take place. But you know what? This is what I'm going to say. You see, because there are certain things that this individual insists on doing where 33 times 3 is concerned. There are people who are going to take on the mantle of persistently tearing her down or, attacking her verbally, and there's not much that anybody can do about it. I often wonder if people really like to have self-inflicted cyberbullying take place, because why not just avoid a certain topic altogether, go about your business, do your thing, and live your life, rather than constantly revisiting certain things around the lady that people hold in high esteem. I don't understand why it is that you don't expect to have some kind of backlash, because as you know, there are people out there who cannot be controlled regardless of what is required or desired by the lady in terms of holding your head straight and ignoring certain people. But as them say, graduates, mouth make for talk. And I suppose any public personality out there should just be ready and open and willing to receive criticism. And, it cannot be stopped and it will never be stopped, which is why I always say there is never going to be any peace in a phone. On another note, Chocolate and Vanilla did the most hilarious live where Vanilla was chipping up the whole of the Jamaican bad word them. Oh my God, it was hilarious to me. I absolutely love that live. And basically they were answering questions that were directed at 33 times 3's charity and the act of donations, etc., etc. And some of the comments that they read and picked out were hilarious in itself, but the responses by Vanilla really agrong me did them, not gonna lie, so funny. But imagine that people were actually complaining about her use of the Jamaican vernacular, that they did not appreciate that she was using Jamaican curse words in order to respond, and they found it quite offensive. So Chocolate and Vanilla took to their platform in order to respond to these people's complaints. And it read as follows: attention, please note, when we do our lives to entertain our audience, we do not come with the intention of only entertaining our religious supporters. Vanilla the other night ripped out a few Jamaican curse words and some people had an issue with it. We shouldn't have to explain ourselves, but here we go. It doesn't have the same impact on Vanilla as it would on me or you, the Jamaicans. Vafan culo. If you just read the word in brackets, you've just cursed in Italian. Have a fantastic day. Look here, no man. Look here. Chocolate and Vanilla, please to come and tell me what a word they mean, because now you have me a cuss bad word in Italian and me doesn't understand what the word mean. Me not think that fair. You have to come and do an interpretation. I would like to have a translation, please and thanks. But yes, graduates, another hilarious clapback from Chocolate and Vanilla as expected. Come on, guys. You need to get yourselves a little bit more relaxed. Jamaican curse words are the least of our problems. In fact, I do not think there is not one of us that don't use a Jamaican bad word. Even if it's no longer in your present, it certainly was in your past. Just chill out and take it with the light humor that it was intended. Well, people, may also go run a one pass, run a one place. And me see one note where say apparently landlord called police on certain people, and it apparently has backfired. Me no know, so then claim, but you know, so you can't do trust anything will come out of that side of the world. Well, according to the comments, apparently landlord now, fear her name now, get lodged with the FBI as a result of the complaint that she made with the police. Make we go and watch and see how this is going to turn out. I am still here sitting and waiting, guys, because you know we don't support any kind of arms house when it comes to taking advantage of the vulnerable. If it's a matter of landlord is guilty, I want to see the due diligence take place and the law take the advantage. So let us see how this turns out. So far, receipts still a dash out. People still insist that this woman is a scammer. But as I said, Facebook is no court of law, and it's about time that should these things truly be taking place, we take it to the court of law and get the justice that is deserved.
The contractor. We need the contractor. For the work, yeah. We start. We need him. We want back everybody. Everybody. We want disinfectant, GS, Dettol, soap powder, all type of thing to clean out the house. The baby them get meningitis. Them are sick and dead. We want justice!
Anyway, guys, that's it from me. I hope you guys have a wonderful week ahead. Big up on a nice, clean self. This is your girl, Head Teacher K. One more 10 story in a one. Bye bye.